Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on this 25th day of September. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for today.
We'll get into a little bit of everything. I was gonna try to push the baseball news into tomorrow, but after last night, it's kind of difficult to do so. But we'll talk NFL. You can send in your fantasy lineup questions to 661-842-2000. Plus, we'll have Bolt Brady at 8:30 and Dan Betts at 8, the owner of the Well Comedy Club, which will be opening downtown very, very soon. We'll get an update from him. And we've got all sorts of stuff to cover, and let's get to it.
You know, that's the first question I have for Dan is we got to have a date. I mean,
Boats and hoes.
I'm just saying, I need to know, when do I get to go have brunch at the Well? Because I drove by it multiple times last week and this week. It looks nice from the outside.
And if you're downtown and you want to take a turn over on 19th and K, our MoneyWise sign on top of the Woolworth on the side of K Street is up. It says MoneyWise at Woolworth.
Look at that. We're moving in. We're taking over.
Things are coming.
We are taking over downtown.
It's been a 4-year project, but we're almost there.
Shoot, 4 years. But I remember when you first told me about this. And I said, "Oh, cool! We can do the show from Woolworths." Yeah, that's been a long time.
Been a couple years. I mean, the show has grown. We're live on the radio now.
I know, really. This was back before we were even a podcast, believe it or not.
So,
that's some crazy stuff. But
we'll keep you posted.
Absolutely. And we'll be, hopefully it won't stall out any shows for us. I don't think it will, but we'll let you know if it does. But we got plenty to talk about in the world of sports, starting obviously, as we always do, in the world of football. You got a Thursday night game tonight as the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold head to Arizona to take on the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, who obviously will be without their number one running back for the remainder of the season, and knock on wood, will be back next year.
Yes, hopefully.
I am praying this isn't a career ender for him.
You think Benson can step in and at least, run the offense as a starter?
I think he could be a solid contributor. The same level of James Conner? Absolutely not.
Oh, no, probably not.
And this isn't necessarily a slight at Benson. It's just when you look at what James Conner has been able to do throughout his career, even with the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was a rookie into his first couple of years, he was a consistent threat. Was he ever a guy that could break away and do those crazy things that you see Bijan or Saquon or any of these other running backs do? No, not really. But would he bulldoze literally anybody into the end zone and score a touchdown for you when need be? Abso-dang-lutely. Was he one of the most consistent fantasy football running backs that you could have had in the last 2 to 3 years? 100%. And that's saying something, since Arizona has literally had the roller coaster of a lifetime in the last 5 years in terms of record. So realistically speaking, will Benson come in and they be able to just lockstep, keep doing what they're doing? Probably not.
You take a waiver on him in fantasy?
If you need a running back right now, absolutely. Yeah, because
he'll get his carries. He'll get his chance at least.
Well, that's the beauty of a backup running back. That's why I love guys like Tyler Algier and a lot of these other people, or a lot of these other backups that get a lot of touches during the game, is they have the caliber to be starters, but they need the opportunity. Benson, I wouldn't necessarily put in the same category, but we've been shocked before. Next man up has always been a good thing or I shouldn't say always, but traditionally is a good thing for the backup to actually get a chance to show everybody that he may deserve that starting spot. That's how a lot of the starters at every position got their job right now. Maybe Benson shocks the world and shows everybody tonight against a very tough Seattle defense that he can be a formidable running back, but I don't know. I don't think it's a safe bet to say that that's going to happen. I think it's going to be more Kyler Murray making plays as he usually does, having to use his feet more than he has the first 3 weeks of the season, which may be unfortunate for the Arizona Cardinals because you never want your quarterback running for his life. But when the run game is going to be suffering, obviously they're going to be blitzing the heck out of you just to get your quarterback off balance and honestly make it a hell of a day for him to throw the football. That way you have no offense whatsoever. So this is going to be an interesting game tonight. I'm not expecting a huge game from either of these teams, but both of them are looking to claw back into the NFC West situation with a towering 49ers team and Rams team still leading the charge.
Last I looked, Seattle had a 1.5 odds, but we'll talk to Bolt about that one.
I think that's again. I feel like this game could be even. If I'm being completely honest with you, Sam Darnold hasn't necessarily looked amazing. Cooper Kupp has been a non-factor in my opinion.
Yeah, he had one game this week or this season, and I'm staying away from him. I believe I released him in a couple.
Did you really?
Couple leagues. I was just.
I know a lot of people have because he hasn't even been the number one target. It's been Smith and Jigba and a lot of these other guys, which understandably so. They've been in the offense longer. But you would assume someone with the caliber of talent that Cooper Kupp has
usually is a PPR gold.
Right. And you would at least get a handful of catches going his way, but it just hasn't happened yet. I mean, again, I say yet because it could always happen halfway through the season, and I could be eating crow, as I say a lot. But at this point, he's been a complete non-factor. I expected him to be going home and going back to at least looking or having flashes of that, Triple Crown Cooper Kupp that we were used to seeing in LA. I don't know. Maybe we just need a little bit more time to get the offense flowing in Seattle. But like I said, I don't expect much from either of these teams. I'm just hoping for a good football game. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing, and like I always say, I try to steer away from Thursday night games when it comes to fantasy. And I know 100%. We already had one text that came out this morning, which you can text in anytime, 661-842-2000. But he was driving into work and asked, should I roll with Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones? I know I'm still nervous on starting Daniel Jones.
No, I agree. Don't get me wrong. I've said it 100 times since last week. When is the levee going to break? When is the Colts team finally going to get stuffed? And it might be this week against the Rams. It really might. But in terms of starting for fantasy football, I would definitely start Daniel Jones. There's a higher ceiling there. And to be honest, just like Sparky said, I also like to stay away from the Thursday night football guys, unless it's a superstar like your Bijans or Saquon, someone you literally can't put on the bench. But traditionally, you should probably take these Thursday night games as another bye, because normally they don't add up for a lot of points.
And speaking of Daniel Jones, I was listening to our boy Evan Cohen this morning on Unsportsmanlike, and he said, dude, he's got 6 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. And if he can pull out this big win over the Rams,
800 yards.
Do you throw him in MVP talk already?
I think you have to.
He said it's so weird to even say that.
I think you have to. I think that it's the same with with Herbert. I said it the other day. I'm like, he's silently having that breakout year that we were calling for in our quarterback video. You can go back and watch it if you want to. I've said it for the last couple seasons. When is it going to happen? When are we going to see the Justin Herbert that everybody was hoping was coming out of Oregon and was going to be the chief killer, for lack of a better term? Because that's what everyone thought it was going to be. We were going to get that quarterback rivalry up for the ages between Mahomes and Herbert, and you were going to see that 2 times a year, every year. It hadn't happened until right now. Maybe he was just waiting for the right coach and Harbaugh to come in, but this is that year where at least through the first 4 weeks of the season, you have to throw him in the consideration. Because who's over? You can't say Patrick Mahomes has had a better season than he has.
And when's that coming?
Yeah, Lamar Jackson has not had the better season. Josh Allen, arguable. But vast majority of these quarterbacks have not produced to the level of Justin Herbert and Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So realistically, way too early era of putting down the MVP votes. But yeah, I mean, if they come out and have a stellar week 4 and both of these teams start 4-0, I think you have to. But again, way too early to be talking about the MVP right now. Hey, there's a lot of other things that we could talk about as well, including the story that we somewhat talked about yesterday with this Micah Parsons returning to Dallas thing. And I have to first say that I messed up as well, much like a lot of other people. But the quote was taken vastly out of context. He's not saying he's bringing pain to Dak. He's saying it's going to pain himself.
For himself, yeah.
And the funniest thing about this too, and I don't mean this to be funny, but I heard this morning and I had to scratch my head, but Micah Parsons, for those of you who don't know, has a suite inside of Dallas Stadium in Arlington. He had a suite for his family so they can come watch him play every single game. He bought out the suite already for the whole year. He still owns it. And no, it's not because he's holding on to some sentimental value of, oh, maybe one day. No.
No takebacks.
No, it was straight up no refunds. So not only did Jerry trade him away and tell him I'm not paying you, but he's saying I'm taking the money you gave me too, and you're not getting that back either. Meh. Meh. Just like I have never seen a pity fight between an owner and a player. And he said straight up, there is no ill will on my side whatsoever. But that's on my side. He can't speak for the other side. Personally, if I'm Dallas, how do you not give him his money back for that? Come on, dude. Like there are special circumstances that I feel could get you out of owning a suite in the team's stadium that you don't even play for anymore.
You should just fill it up with Packer fans every week.
I mean, that's what I was thinking too, or just sell the tickets, I guess. Give it to friends that you still know out there in Dallas. I really don't know, but I thought that was interesting. But I had to backtrack that. But how do you feel about that going in now? Do you think Parsons still goes in with that same fire that we were talking about yesterday?
Oh yeah,
Because I was listening.
those revenge games, man.
Yeah, I was listening to McAfee, and that's what Butler was saying. Darius Butler is a regular on the show, and he straight up said, "I think he's lying. I think he's full of it." Well, and it's a good point because it's the same point that you brought up yesterday, Spark. I mean, when you get an opportunity to play against these guys, especially your close friends and mentors, you want an opportunity to show them, hey, we're friends, but I'm still that guy. And to be honest with you, this is the perfect opportunity for him. There's no other opportunity that's going to be better than him coming back to Dallas in the first year that you got traded and showing Dallas exactly why you should never have traded him.
I heard Eisen was talking with Kurt Warner, who had not as close, but when was it the Cardinals or the Rams? It was the other way around. The Cardinals that gave up on him and said, you know, you're too old, it's over. So when he got his first chance to play his old team, he said he circled that on the schedule before the season even kicked off. Like he had something to make of when he finally got to play him. And I believe Eisen went down his stats in that game, and he had a hell of a game. It had close to 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
It's like, I'm thinking it had to have been that year he played with the Cardinals because I don't remember
when he finally got to play up
that.
against the Rams.
Yeah.
After he won the Super Bowl and all that, he said he finally got his chance because they gave up on him. He said he's too old. And he said, you know, when you get those revenge games, it's bittersweet.
Could you imagine if he had won that Super Bowl that year? What the difference we would be talking about Kurt Warner? Like, to be completely honest with you, it would be his name would be in a completely different category. That's so wild to think about. But
those revenge games, we talked about it with Dion yesterday, but I know with this, it's a Sunday night game, which you'll hear right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Right. But I mean, I know they've got to pump it up for many reasons, but I mean, is it really going to be a game? I mean, is Dallas really going to show up for this game? I hope so.
Here's the thing. Let's not forget that although Dallas defensively hasn't looked great, they still took the Philadelphia Eagles to the limit too.
Yeah, and Bland is back in practice.
So realistically, are they really that bad? Or are they just playing down right now? I again, not trying to give them any excuses for the for the poor play that they've had the first couple weeks of the season, but I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being a game
with no CeeDee Lamb.
I've seen Dak Prescott do with less.
Oh, yeah.
You still got George Pickens. Let's not forget who he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hopefully it's a game.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping for a good game. Just like tonight's game, I'm hoping for a good game on Sunday night, 100%. And there's something in my head that says never count out the Cowboys to at least make it a game. Am I saying they're going to win? Absolutely not. Packers are going to win this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if they made it a barn burner. If Dak at least showed up in prime time and said, I'm still Dak freaking Prescott. Let's not forget that. And actually lead Dallas to maybe 28 points. Something of that nature. Couple scores, 3-4 scores, maybe 24, somewhere in that area. And then the Packers still end up winning this game, probably 35-28, somewhere in that area.
As long as they can clean up those turnovers and stupid mistakes, they should be.
What did we say though in our quarterback video? Jordan is prone to these kind of mistakes during the season, so you got to take what you can get. And as long as he's going to sit there and throw 3 touchdowns over 1 pick, I think everybody's going to be okay with that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I think everybody's going to be fine with that. Let's take a break real quick, pay some bills. We got to talk about another quarterback change that happened yesterday as the New York Giants have decided they're going with the young kid, and they're going to throw him out to the Wolves this week against the Chargers. We'll give you our thoughts on the other side of the break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. ESPN Bakersfield. We also stream video online every single day on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can find us on YouTube and all over social media as well at the Early Bird Special. And all of our old episodes and videos, our past interviews, including the one on Monday with Luke Robitaille is up there. We have a couple 559 fights up there. Our old interviews with Leanne Morgan. Leanne Rhymes. Where am I going with that?
Too.
I know. No, Leanne Morgan, very funny comedian. Cactus Tate is up there. I mean, there's plenty
One of
for you
my
to go check
favorites.
out. One of the biggest on our on our channel right now, actually, as well. I think she's the biggest interview, if I'm
She's blowing
correctly.
up too.
She's our biggest interview. Our biggest video, though, is the one of us and talking about Ace Bailey, which again somehow got over 700 views. I mean, you guys
Wow.
loved hearing us talk about Ace Bailey. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of them, including our thoughts on week 3 of the NFL. But we got to talk about the biggest story in football the day yesterday, which was the New York Giants making the decision to go with Jaxson Dart, the rookie quarterback out of Ole Miss at USC prospect. Sorry, I have to throw that out there, even though he transferred. He did play for USC. I actually asked a couple people yesterday that are USC fans, like, are we counting this? Is he a USC quarterback? Are we counting this? I mean, I personally don't, because he was only there a year and it wasn't a very good year.
I hope he comes out and slings it.
I hope he does too. And that's the question I wanted to pose to you is this smart? Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was saying it was coming sooner rather than later. No one expected Russ to be the quarterback out there this week, but we all did expect them maybe to go with Jameis for a week, wait until they play the Saints next week in New Orleans. But even then, that's not exactly the best location for him to start either, although he would have a lot of the fans down there from Mississippi. If you don't think they're going to travel to Louisiana and go watch that game, you're crazy. But
I don't know if it's the smartest, but I mean, probably the better of odds. I mean, they had to do something with Russ. Wilson just didn't look right.
right.
I think. I mean, I can go both ways because we listened to Carr talking about franchises rushing quarterbacks in because they're on their rookie deals and they're trying to get too much out of them before they've kind of grown into the position. I think what we've seen, obviously, we don't want to put too much weight into what we saw in preseason, but I think, is this smart for the team or is this Dayball just trying to save his job?
Right.
Like this here, just take the keys and maybe save me a job. But I think, I probably, if it was my decision, I probably would have went with Winston and just let, play 2 or 3 games, see what we got out of Winston, maybe if we can still save the season. But obviously they've got a lot of respect on what they can get out of Dart. And, I drafted him in my dynasty just to sit on a rookie deal. But, we'll see. We've seen crazier things in the NFL, and I'm hoping that this kid can step in and make a game out of it.
Right. My only concern is what I said yesterday, which is, to me, the problem with the Giants isn't in the roster, it's internal in the front office. There's something that is creating some uncertainty and some just I don't know how to put it. It's just not working. And I think that is expressing itself on the field as it normally does. I know everybody sits there and says that, oh, no, it's always just in the coaches and the roster that you build. No, the front office can cause a lot of problems too. Now, that is another concern that I have too, is that you're starting him possibly too early here. I grant you that the offensive output the first 3 weeks for the Giants has not been it hasn't been what they wanted. Outside of that game against Dallas, they really haven't been able to score. Russ hasn't been able to throw a deep ball to save his life for some reason. I just genuinely think he just lost it in his game somewhere. And they're looking to just kickstart it with a brand new battery in there and say, okay, let's see how this works. I think that the benchmarks that you have given them or given him as a coaching staff probably show that he can be a starter, especially from what we saw in the preseason. And they see him as a quick learner who is just tough as nails, which essentially is what Bo Nix was last year. So why not throw him out to the Wolves and see how it works? I'm just concerned that this Chargers game is not opportune time to really see the rookie come out and start. If you want him to be successful long term, we need to establish some confidence in him, because I'm not gonna lie, although he may show bravado, ain't no confidence in the game yet. We don't know what you're gonna look like against a starting NFL like caliber team. We've only seen you against the backups. That's why I don't put a lot of weight into the preseason. You didn't see him against Derwin James. You didn't see him against number one guys on their team on the defensive side. You only saw him against backups that were trying to save their job or get their job.
Yeah, to make their job.
So when are we really going to be able to establish that confidence that he needs to be successful?
I mean, the one good thing as a coach, you're going in with a quarterback that the Chargers don't have a lot of tape on.
Right.
So they can probably go in and try to change up, the Giants' offensive scheme and kind of catch them on their toes. The Chargers defense have looked solid the first 3 weeks of football. And, we've talked about the offensive line not being that great with the Giants. There is plenty of talent in New York, so we can't just blame the offense. And it could be the coaching. It could just be Russell Wilson in general. But I think Dart, to talk down to be, let's just wait until it's the Saints. It's still a professional NFL defense that, that have professional athletes.
Right.
So, to put in Dart, I can see both sides of it. I can see, why wait? This is the best quarterback we have on the roster that in our eyes, or two, let's give this kid a chance. I can understand, waiting, but we've seen in the first 3 weeks what Wilson they're getting. And even though they paid him plenty of money to be their starting quarterback, what I saw out of Dayball's press conference is it's Dart for the rest of the season.
Well, and that's probably to be expected, because if this doesn't work, Dayball most likely won't be there by the end of the season. But that's the other question that I had as well in terms of the quarterback room is, say this does work, Jaxson looks like the starter that they want in New York. Does that mean they move on from Russ? Does Russ get dropped?
They get shipped to Cincy?
Yeah, or exactly. Or we get a trade of either Jameis or Russ to Cincy, or another one of these quarterback needy teams that aren't willing to pay the big bucks for Kirk Cousins, because that's essentially what's probably holding up Atlanta from getting a trade done, is that no one wants to take on the ridiculous contract he gave him. But that's my main thought after all of this is, if this does work out and Jaxson Dart hands the Chargers their first loss of the year, and the Giants walk away thinking, okay, we found a dude, there's no reason to hold on to 3 quarterbacks in that room. And you're not going to go back to Russ. You're not. After what you saw in the first 3 weeks of the season, I highly doubt you would trust Russ to come back out and be the guy for you again. So what are you going to do in that area? I would say trade him, but I don't know if any NFL team would actually trade for him.
Yeah, I think they would look more at Winston.
I think so too.
For more of a Band-Aid for the injury-plagued season or injury-plagued teams. And what we've seen in the first 3 weeks, we're at 6 quarterbacks now that have gone down. It's going to be a quarterback-needy team that is going to have to, bust open the checkbook and get one of these guys.
Oh, 100%.
And if Browning comes out and looks like he did last week, it might be Cincy. But we've talked about it for a while, how Cincy is with their salary cap.
Notoriously cheap, but at the same time, if you want to contend, you're going to need to. You have to at least get somebody that's competent at the quarterback position to be able to throw the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter how much money you paid these guys. If they're not happy, they're going to let you know it. So at this point for Cincinnati, or again, maybe it's another team. Maybe Minnesota doesn't believe JJ can be the guy and Carson falls on his face. All of these things are possible. But the biggest question mark to me now is what's next for Russ? Because I also don't see him going into free agency again and hoping he gets picked up. I think after this, I think he retires. I think he's done. I think he says, you know what? I've had my time.
I was surprised somebody picked him up this offseason.
I honestly was too, but I think there were at least a stretch of games, I can't remember how long, probably about 4 to 6 last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he looked like Russ, or at least a version of Russ that could still start. But that's not what you saw in New York. Not at all. So that's why well, I shouldn't say I'm concerned, but I'm thinking in my head, if this works out and they think that Jaxson could be anywhere close to a starter, Russ might be out of a job completely, and they may just release him because I don't know a single team in the NFL that's going to trade for Russ right now. I just can't see it. But that's just me. We got to take a break. On the other side, we'll give you our picks the week for the games in the NFL. And we got to talk about the Hall of Fame nominees that got announced yesterday. And if there are going to be any first balloters that we think that are actually going to make it, because there are some names on here. I'm not going to lie to you. They might. They just might. We'll give you those names on the other side of the break. This is the Early Bird Special on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Sorry, I love this song. It's hard to catch you. Okay? I don't know what to say. This is the early bird special right here on 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. ESPN Vegas. Shit. Also streaming video-wise every single day online on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can just find us just by searching the Early Bird Special. You'll see our little logo there with the ESPN type lettering, the little red bird and the worm and all that type of good stuff. Just like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that type of good stuff. Hit the bell. You'll see us every single day from 7 to 9, including videos that we release throughout the week as well. I promise the shorts are coming back eventually. I have been incredibly busy. But we got plenty to talk about. But do you want to get to our picks first, or should we talk about the Hall of Fame first?
Let's get the Hall of Fame
Hall
out.
of Fame. All right. Well, the National League Football Hall of Fame has been announced, or at least the candidates for this year for early eligibility. The first year eligibles that are named: Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Phillip Rivers, Alex Smith, Greg Olson, Jason Witten, Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, David DeCastro, Marquise Pouncey, Geno Adkins, Jarrell Casey, and Thomas Davis, just to name a few. These are just the candidates. These are the early candidates, because if you know how this works, they have a field of 50 that they then narrow down to 25, then 15, and then the final people that are voted on to actually get in get voted on, I believe, in February by the actual selection committee right before the Super Bowl. I believe the new format, if I remember correctly, allows them to take 4 to about 8 players a year. Last year, they only took 4. It was the smallest they've ever done. And honestly, it kind of made sense because the names that were on there, a handful of them were very, very close, but I wouldn't necessarily say they were first balloters. I think the only one that was left off was Adam Vinatieri. I think it's hard to make a kicker a first ballot Hall of Famer, but let's be honest, if there was one,
Yeah, it would be him.
it would have been him. So, but to name a handful of candidates that are still on the list as well, don't worry. For those of you who are saying, well, what happened to Eli? What happened to all that? They're all still on
Ricky
the list.
Williams.
There are 4 names that are automatic qualifiers for the finals because they were on the list last year. That was Willie Anderson, Torrey Holt, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri. They will automatically be bid on at the end of all of this if they get in or not. The other finalists that'll be returning: Eli Manning, Fred Taylor, Steve Smith Sr., Reggie Wayne, Jahari Evans, Marshall Yanda, Terrell Suggs, Darren Woodson. Again, list of incredible players that all deserve to probably be in there for one reason or another. Whether they get in or not is really up to the discretion of the group. But of the name of the first balloters that I named off, again, I'll name them for you one more time: Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Phillip Rivers, Alex Smith, Greg Olson, Jason Witten, Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, David DeCastro, Marquise Pouncey, Geno Adkins, Jarrell Casey, and Thomas Davis.
Which I loved.
I love Thomas, but again, he played against my team for the vast majority of his career, so no. Any of those names think you're going to get in first ballot? I know it's hard to say that anybody deserves to be in first ballot. Personally, if I had to throw one in there, or at least 2, Drew and Larry.
I would definitely put Fitzgerald. He's one of the top 2, I would say. And I would throw in, man, that's tough, but I'd probably throw in Witten.
Witten's another one I considered just because of
Witten,
how long how dominant he was at the tight end position.
And it'd probably be Drew Brees in my 3, but the top 2, I would definitely go with Fitzgerald. Should be 100%.
Yes.
And I would say Witten just because of how long his career and how long, he just kept it up at that fast pace. And, when you think of Dallas, you think of Jason Witten.
Yeah.
And, Drew Brees should probably be, but the way they've been voting, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't a first ballot. I still think Ricky Williams should be in there. I know his career was short, but he led the league for a couple years. And I think it's more of the tarnished of when you think Ricky Williams, you think, weed, and you think this and
all
that.
The other stuff.
But personally, I think those are the 2 I would pick. Brees probably a close third.
I would have to go opposite of that and go, well, not opposite, but Larry and Drew would be my 1 and 2. Larry, for sure. Obviously, it doesn't really need to be explained. One of the best wide receivers to ever play. Only played for one team. Was a pinnacle for that team the entire time. And when you talk about a guy who really gave back to the community of Arizona, and I mean the state of Arizona, not just a city in Phoenix, I mean the state of Arizona, Larry is top tier. And to be honest with you, it's hard for me to justify not putting him in as a first ballot Hall of Famer. And in the same words, you could say the same thing for Drew Brees. Now, granted, not a one-team guy, but when you think of Drew Brees, what do you think of? You don't think of his time with the Chargers, now do you? You think his time with the Saints. You think of what he meant to that city of New Orleans and what he brought to the city of New Orleans with Sean Payton and the dominance that he had in the NFC South for a long, long time, even though he had to go up against guys like Cam Newton and Matt Ryan and Jameis Winston for a while, who, although threw a lot of picks, threw a lot of touchdowns as well. I mean, there was a time, I know we all like to talk ill of the NFC South right now because of how bad it is, but let's not forget, just 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, they were one of the best divisions in football. And it was hard to get any win for these guys.
I'd just be surprised if Brees got in on a first ballot if they didn't let Eli.
Well, see, the only reason I put Brees above Eli is because of his statistics and where he lines up with them. Because although Eli, yes, has 2 Super Bowls, Drew is in the top 5 in yards,
as a career quarterback.
Yeah, a career quarterback.
Go over.
So that's why I would put him in first ballot.
And Charger fans would kick me if I didn't bring up the Phillip Rivers, but I think Rivers is probably in that same category with Eli. And if Eli is not going to get first ballot, I would be shocked.
Yeah, if Phillip got in. And honestly, as much as
he gets in at all,
I don't think so. I hate saying that out loud, dude, but I say the same thing about Eli. To be honest with you, as much as it would pain me to see Eli not get put in,
I think he'll get in.
I don't know if he does.
I think he should.
I think he should as well. But again, it's like Phillip, like statistically, you were always up there. And I loved watching Phillip Rivers play. And the guy could sling it.
And now that the Hall of Fame has opened up their doors with, statistical and certain games that are now in a section in the Hall of Fame, if he doesn't, it'll be one of the Super Bowls or. But yeah, I'd be shocked if Eli didn't get in. I was shocked last year he didn't get in.
So of the names that I also said, though, that we said out loud during this, I know we always talk about who's the first ballot, but just like we talked about with Eli and Phillip, who do you think is going to be left off? Because you only have a certain amount of time to be elected into the Hall of Fame before they take you off the list. Personally, and I hate saying this out loud again, Torrey Holt.
Yeah.
It has been a question every single year. Why hasn't he been put in yet? I genuinely believe they're not going to. I don't know why, but it just seems to me that they don't want to put Torrey Holt into the Hall of Fame. I mean, statistically, it would make sense to put him in the Hall of Fame.
I would say the same thing about Pouncey.
Yeah, Pouncey's another one too.
I think Pouncey's getting into the Steelers Ring of Honor this year. I believe it's in December when they play the Dolphins. Of course, they put Pouncey in when we play the Dolphins, but
naturally.
I wouldn't think he was going to be a Hall of Famer.
No, and honestly,
he's probably up there in the list of should maybe, and like in that little line where he probably won't get in.
No, and I think Thomas Davis is just under that line as well. As fun as he was to watch alongside Luke Kuechly, I don't think he makes it. I think that these guys are all fantastic athletes, and again, Ring of Honor for their teams, and arguable that you should be put in. But I feel like we put in too many of these guys sometimes.
You think Vinatieri will be a first ballot?
I don't know. If Vinatieri was in last year, so he can't be a first ballot. This will be a second.
You think he'll get in this year?
I sure hope so. I know. Again, it's a kicker, so everybody's like, "Are you kidding?" But come on, dude. Like, it's the same thing I was going to say about the linemen on this list. Okay, like Geno Atkins, Jarrell Casey, David DeCastro, Marquise Pouncey. I mean, Yonda Evans. Yonda was a stud.
Yeah,
but it's hard for me, at least, to judge getting an offensive line in the Hall of Fame. I don't know exactly what the criteria would be for that, so I can't speak on those. But it's the same when it comes to kickers and punters. Although, yeah, what exactly do you got to do to be a great kicker and punter? I think Adam Vinatieri did everything possible to be a Hall of Fame kicker. He made kicks at the end of games and was a hero for a team. He was an accurate kicker. He very rarely ever missed. He had one of the best legs in terms of distance during his time. It's like saying Justin Tucker doesn't deserve to be a Hall of Famer.
I was just going to say that. You think he gets in?
Yeah, I do. I think him and Pat McAfee both, if McAfee's not already in there. I just again, I can't speak for it because I don't know the list in front of me right now, but there are a name of kickers and punters that you have to at least give respect to in changing the game in doing what they did. I think Shane Leckler would be another one that you would have to throw in there. Janikowski. Again, like, what is the criteria for kickers? I realize, but Adam Vinatieri, if we had to set a bar, it's him.
Yeah,
so
he'd be in the top 10 kickers of all time, so he'd have to be in there.
Exactly. So would he not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Now, first balloter, again,
probably not,
but it's a kicker.
Yeah.
But
fit him in whenever we need to.
Second, third, yeah, whenever you need a big name to go in there. Hey, look, Adam's still on the list. Here. Like, it works. It just, I don't know. But it's, again, the linemen in it, I'm not 100% sure. I can't really say for sure if they get in or out because I don't know what the criteria would be. I would assume it would just be the dominance and how long you've played and, like, nobody getting back past you, obviously. Which, if that's the case, DeCastro and Pouncey did a dang good job. But first balloters, probably not.
Probably not.
Not if Yanda didn't get in. Because if I'm going to be honest, if I had to pick any of them in a lineup to be a guard or a center on my team, I'm going with Yanda every single time.
Yeah, he was always on my All-Madden team.
Oh, 100%. We got to take a break real quick. We'll get to our picks of the week in terms of week 4 in the NFL right after this. Plus, we got to talk about Sparky's boy hitting 60 last night. Cal Raleigh continues
MVP.
to make this the hardest decision for baseball writers ever in terms of MVP. And I am so upset that everything I see says Shohei Ohtani is running away with it in the NL. Is it, I'm going to pose this question real quick and we'll get to it on the other side after our picks, but is it fair to really give Shohei a leg because he pitches? I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't, until everybody has the ability to do both, I don't think that's a fair comparison. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to criticize. I heard the promo and I was like, oh, Russell's not that bad? Dude, I saw 4 deep balls to Neighbors in this last game that went to corners, 5 yards behind him. Like, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think Giant fans are pretty fed up already. Like, I'd say it's not bad. I don't know. That's just me, but it is what it is. We got to get to our picks of the week, I should say, in the NFL. Week 4 is upon us. We have our game tonight, Seattle against Arizona. In Arizona, you can hear it right here on ESPN Bakersfield. I believe 5 o'clock start.
5:15. I believe the pregame's at 4:30.
Is there a pregame? Okay, fantastic. So you can hear the pregame and all of the game right here on ESPN Bakersfield as Sam Darnold tries to take down Kyler Murray, and we will see if the Seattle Seahawks can get back on track into their winning ways that we saw last year. Not 100% certain, if I'm being completely honest with you, but it is what it is. Sparky, who you got in this one?
I'm going Seattle.
Are you? For the sake of competition, I will go with Arizona. I don't know. There's something about this Arizona team that I think is going to bounce back for James Conner, at least in this game.
I like Kyler Murray.
I do too.
But I like Seattle's defense a little bit too much. So I'm going to go Seattle.
And the defense of Seattle will be getting Witherspoon and Love back this week. So it's a good sign for Seattle Seahawks fans.
Minnesota at Pittsburgh in Ireland.
Game in Dublin.
Which also would be right here on ESPN Bakersfield.
Yes, and I know I told you all to take Carson Wentz yesterday if you need a quarterback. I still stand by that statement. However, I will be taking the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game just solely because of Mr. Rooney and what he meant to the city of Pittsburgh and the country of Ireland. So I will be going with Mr. Rooney and the Steelers.
I'm going Minnesota. Then we get Washington at Atlanta.
Again,
I'm going Washington.
So obviously, Falcon fan want to take Falcons, but there are 2 main factors that I'm concerned with. One, Jaden Daniels potentially coming back and playing in this game. He will tear us apart, unfortunately. Although the defense has looked good in weeks 1 and 2. And 2, even if he doesn't come back, this will be a revenge game for Mr. Mariota because this is the game in which he walked out on Atlanta. Literally walked out on Atlanta with Arthur Smith. So, but I'm going to ride with my Falcons. I hope we can pull it off just for, again, sake of competition. Let's do it.
I already know the answer to this one, but New Orleans at Buffalo.
Never bet on the Saints.
We're going both Buffalo. Cleveland at Detroit.
I'm going to ride with the number 1 defense in the NFL. That is the Cleveland Browns.
Wow, I'm going Detroit. Then we get the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans.
I'm sorry. I know both teams are 0-3, but one team is bad and the other team is hot garbage. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans.
I will go with Tennessee. I'll switch it up. I'll go with Tennessee. I like Cam Ward. Scratching my head with
me
Houston.
Some Cam Ward, but until I can see some consistency out of that group, I can't say that I could take them in a week-by-week basis.
We get Carolina at New England.
Once again, never bet on Carolina, always going with New England.
I'm doing the same. Then we get the Superchargers at the Jaxson Dart-led New York Giants.
Oh, here we go. Game of the week. No, I'm just kidding. Again, the Giant defense is going to make it hard for Justin Herbert. I don't think this is going to be as easy of a win as Charger fans believe it will be, but I still believe Chargers win this.
Me as well. I'll go Philadelphia at Tampa. This should be a good game.
Silently great game. I'm going to ride with Tampa. I think they've done great things in the first 3 weeks to really get up there. And Philadelphia has really played themselves out of a lot of these games in the first 3 weeks.
I'm going Eagles. Do we have the Indianapolis Colts at the LA Rams, which could be the game of the week?
Why did we said that?
We see it.
Yeah, no, we've got about 4 or 5 of these. The levy's got to break eventually. I feel like Sean McVay might be that guy. I'm going to ride with the Rams.
I am going with the Rams as well. Jacksonville at the 49ers.
I do not see enough from Trevor Lawrence to be able to say I trust Jacksonville in this game. Give me the 49ers.
I am staying away from Jacksonville. I'll go Niners. Baltimore at Kansas City.
Oh, the 1-3 bowl. Oh, God. Lamar. Give me Lamar. When in doubt, give it to Lamar.
I'll go with Mahomes. Chicago at Las Vegas.
This is another tricky one. Ben Johnson just getting his first win last week. Let's say he doubles it. I'll go with the Bears.
I will reach out, and I will go Las Vegas. Sunday night, Green Bay at Dallas.
Ooh.
I'm going
No, I
Green
already
Bay.
said it early in the show. I can't back off of it. Packers win this game, although probably 35-28, but it's going to be a good one. I'll take the Packers.
And then we get a doubleheader on Monday night. The winless Jets against the winless Dolphins. You know, I'm going
riding
with,
with
my
your Dolphins this week, baby. I can't pick the Jets. There's something in me that just says Jets. No, hell no.
No.
I'll take the Dolphins.
Cincinnati at Denver.
This game is not going to be a good one. I think Jake Browning is going to be absolutely ran off the field. Denver takes this by a mile, and Bo Nix is going to show everybody how good this team really is, even though they lost to the Chargers.
Oh, man, Denver is really breaking my heart. I've picked their defense, and I'm going to ride with their defense, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer than we think, and I'll go Denver.
I can't, dude. I can't believe in Jake Browning. I don't know what it is.
And that's Eisen's guy, man. He is dying by this guy.
Well, you love the story, right? He comes in the first week, the team that cut him, he makes them regret it. Everybody hopes that he can do it again and again and again and again. But again, he's a backup for a reason. And unfortunately, I think there's better options out there for Cincinnati right now that they should be calling. We got to take a break. On the other side, we got comedian Dan Betts coming in studio. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. ESPN Bakersfield, as well as streaming online every single weekday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch from 7 to 9 a.m. Just search the Early Bird Special. You can find us all over the place on social media. Just look for our little logo right there. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that good stuff for all the latest in sports. We do try to get it out to you as quickly as humanly possible. Sports and entertainment stuff as well. Like there was one I shared the other day for you horror fans out there, but Robert Englund is actually going to get his Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame down there. Finally. And again, for those of you who are horror fans, much like it seems like it's a long time coming. These things, I know horror doesn't get the love it kind of deserves. A lot of people think it's just gore fests most of the time. And I get it. Sometimes it can be. Depends on the movie you're watching. I mean, look at Terrifier. It was nothing but gore. But at the same time, horror needs to be respected. And Robert Englund finally getting his star. Love to see it.
I'm trying to go to that.
I know, right? Actually go out there and see it happen. That'd be awesome. Our guest has arrived in studio. I know it's early for comedians, so he has to get all ready and brush his teeth for us and whatnot. Daniel Betts is here. Sir, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Oh, can't complain. How are things going at the well? Are we close?
They're going slow. Close. I got breaking news for you guys. You guys
fantastic.
get the exclusive.
Breaking news.
Is that a mariachi band over in the other studio?
Yes,
over here?
Might as well be.
Rick
yes.
Kreiser and the
Come on, guys.
What is it? The Siberian
Sessions.
Orchestra or whatever this time?
No,
or
that's November.
Okay.
You got a guy in here with ADHD trying to do morning radio, and this guy's just jamming away. You know what I mean? It's so distracting.
It's all the live music.
I'm gonna look at your beautiful
there
eyes
you
instead
go.
of these guys. I'm tired, guys. I gotta be honest with you.
Do not blame you.
Yeah, coffee and Adderall got me here today.
Just don't take Tylenol.
It's
apparently.
prescription. Oh yeah, no
Tylenol.
No
That's what we hear.
Tylenol. Did you guys see this one? I don't know. I was one of these social media memes that who knows who created it, but I'm seeing everyone. I thought it was hilarious. Somebody said, my mom only took Tylenol PM, so I only have autism at night.
Oh Lord.
Okay, I'll see myself out, you guys.
He was just showing me a video.
I know.
the
I'll have to
break,
show it to you during the break. But so tired. How are things going? I realize that the city's probably making it rough for you guys to get started and get open, but how close are we?
We are not close. I got to tell you.
Was that the breaking news?
Yeah, no, that's the other part of it.
That's the breaking news. No, we actually haven't shared with anybody yet. So literally, I am telling you guys for the first time. So, and just keep it between the three of us, please.
Of course. That's how we roll.
Just the three of us. Somebody hit the curse button over here or whatever. If I start talking about Charlie Kirk, you just hit that button and we don't want the FCC chair.
I've seen your videos lately.
Tuning in.
Oh Lord.
That guy tunes in and shuts you guys down that I don't have to get up this early anymore.
Hey, it could just be a nice 2-week vacation. Look at Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, he's back.
I know.
I don't want to get you guys kimmeled.
No, let's not get Kimmel.
It's bad enough this guy's flipping cars when he leaves the studio.
I know, really. Getting in people's way, trying to just pass through a green light. You never know what could happen.
Don't do that.
No.
It's like
Just
my mom
mind
always
my
said,
business.
count to 3 when the light turns green. You never know.
It was still green. I didn't have to count at all. Anyways, I'm sorry to keep distracting you.
Yeah, so we're bumping our target opening again. So I'll just tell you super quick. The original plan was really leave White Lane, get open downtown as fast as possible, really minimize our spend, just keep the momentum going, keep my comics on stage, keep the audiences laughing. And of course, you know, we got the building department behind us and they dinged us on something. It was a little silly, if I'm honest, I think, but here we are. So, okay, so that plan kind of went out the window. So we bumped from kind of August to November. We were going to open with Hans Kim as our opening weekend show. And I think we're bumping to like January 8th or 8th and 9th right now. So stinks, we're bumping, but it's because we've kind of decided to do more.
Okay.
So
what are we doing?
More than what you are already.
I know. Well, things are fluid right now, as they say. My wife really wanted to shut down for kind of a long time and really make the building amazing. And I did not. And she's getting her way as she always does.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. Look at me.
So happy.
Look how happy I am, guys. I'm so happy up here at the crack of dawn. So she's getting her way in part just because plans have changed. So I think you guys are really hearing it here, but I think we're going to probably abandon lunch after all.
Okay.
Or at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
The plan was the A room, the B room, and then the outdoor patio, the C room. And I think we're just going to tear open the A and the B room and combine them. We're going to abandon having an A and a B room, which I really liked. But we'll have an A and a B with the outdoor being B now. So I think we're actually demoing the front bar. So we're demoing the front bar. We're building up the B bar, adding more seating.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, and just making a bigger, more beautiful showroom.
Okay.
So really more of still kind of that combination of the White Lane kind of pirate ship vibe that we had at the comedy club there, with a little bit more traditional comedy club appearance and feel a little bit over
vibe.
here, I think. Yeah, we're still keeping the exposed bar in the B room, but we're full service, so you won't order food and drinks at the bar until like after the show's over. Basically, we brought in a consultant, and she's dope, and she did not want me to have an exposed bar at all. And I was like, nope, we're doing it. If for no other reason, so Steven and I could do shots after the show. It's just a clubhouse.
Celebrate. Yeah, that's how we do it.
You know what I mean? Look at we're rocking a Welsh shirt over here.
Right.
Good. Look, what do you?
I haven't been given one yet. Don't look at me.
Look, I got a shirt for you.
Oh, there you go.
Look at this.
See?
I brought one in for you.
Oh, that's a different one.
Huh?
Nice.
I brought that for you.
I like that.
Okay, you guys gave me a shirt, but you didn't realize that
it's been sitting in the truck.
Yeah, I have I have the upper body of a sick young girl, and so that's
a little too big for you.
That was an adult male.
It's a 90.
That was an adult. Yeah, I just wear that in my underwear, like my daughters when they go to bed.
Lord.
I paint in it. That's my smock.
There you go.
Like when you're in grade school.
Have you been on stage anytime, or are planning on being on stage anytime soon?
I just did. Man, God, yeah, everything. All my stuff came crashing down too, right? I opened for Tom Green here a little while back, and I did. I just did Mic Drop San Diego a week or two ago.
I saw you did the open mic.
I did the open mic at Eva's recently. I've stopped by
Firehouse.
Tyson's, at Firehouse. It's funny. We've talked for years about what the open mics look like when football season starts, and I love that. I love that Dingaling because he's so like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He's gonna grab the tiger by the tail, you know what I mean? And then football started. He's like, "That's been a little slow." I'm like, "Yeah, I told you,
it's football season."
Yeah, but you can't. But I didn't want to like blow his candle out. You know what I mean? I was like, "No, keep going after it, right?"
Do you think the fair hits that too?
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, you can never win against the fair. You can't win against with a ticketed show. I don't care who I book. I could book the greatest comic ever. I'm gonna lose 20% of ticket sales during the fair.
I knew the fair hit a lot of businesses downtown, especially restaurants, but I didn't realize that affected you guys in comedy and stuff like that.
Man, it was getting us when we were on Union back in the day. It would get me on White Lane.
Yeah,
just as a local comic, if I was doing a show at Tembler back in the day or whatever, or the open mics. We're going, and it would always sneak up on us. We'd always we'd show up to the open mics. I'm like, dude, it's dead in here.
Dude, I was shocked. We did the my other gig at Big FM. We did the Sugar Ray show on Saturday, and I wasn't expecting much. I mean, Sugar Ray, I know he had a big following 20 years ago, but that place was packed.
For Sugar Ray?
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I just want to fly.
There was no open seats.
Sing it with me. Put your arms around me, baby.
And that's why I've been coughing up dirt for the last week.
Me too. I'm
damn
over
fair.
clearing my throat because I caught all the valley fevers at the fair. All around the world, statues crumble for me. Is this going to get you guys pulled? Because that was so
if anything,
close.
it'll get us more followers.
To sounding like him that I don't know if you can clear that. Is that?
We'll see if Facebook clears the copyright infringement on us.
I miss you guys. How you been, man? We got right into it.
And
I got my daughter's coffee cup over here.
Came all prepared today.
We're dealing with the same thing with MoneyWise. I mean, we got the Woolworth building a little over 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were planning on August, and then, fire safety, the elevator, stuff like that. And now we are looking at the first week of October.
Yeah.
And then, the diner, they finally hired their staff. So they're working on, training. So there'll be some soft openings, for the downtown area. And then I believe the second week of October, it'll be full throttle.
Right on. Can I tell you, I used you guys as an example when we decided to. I mean, we were moving along, right? We're painting, and we got chandeliers up, and blah blah blah. I got to be careful in case anybody from building department's listening. But we were already like moving along and making the A bar look great, and so on and so forth. And then we got countertops, and we got the liquor display and some shelves and a cabinet and a decent amount of spend on the A bar. And the consultant came in and was like, why don't you demo the bar? And I was like, I thought about doing that when we first came in here, but I abandoned it because I wanted to get open and it was going to be wildly expensive. I've got a steel I-beam that runs the length of the building that was notched years ago to sit on top of what's our keg room now. Used to be the vault when this was a bank in 1950. And so I kind of abandoned the idea and I just started to accept the venue the way that it was a little bit more and start to adapt around it. And she came in and challenged that. And I was like, well, let me just hear her out, And my wife was like, you're not considering this, are you? Like, we've already dumped a ton of money into the place to be like it is. The partition panels that we painted and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know, I'm entertaining it at least. And then I kind of went, yeah, we're doing it. And
made too much sense.
It was giving my wife, I mean, me too, because we're burning money, but it was giving my wife absolute fits, the idea of just flushing money and doing rework. And I said, yeah, but babe, this is like, look at the Woolworth building. She was almost looking at it, I was like, do we even know what we're doing at this point? Like, we are just morons fumbling through this. I go, look at the Woolworth building.
That's why I give you guys so much more love, because people don't understand, you could have a goal of, whatever example of money. And then you have to add that and probably double it, because there's so much things you don't understand until you get into, especially downtown with these older buildings and these little things that pop up here and there. And I mean, we're going on 4 years, like I said, and, there's always a plan and, you have a broad outlook. So, I mean, even with Sheridan and Emily, the Waits, what their goal is, to give back to the community and keep this. And plus, if stay off social media, because there's always people hating on what they think. And we've learned so much of, that last 3 or 4 years at Woolworths, it was empty. I mean, I used to take my son there for lunch and we'd be the only ones there. And people are like so hateful about, oh, they're just going to bash it and, do that. I mean, it was on their way out to bankruptcy and not opening ever again.
Salvaging it.
And if anything, what Sheridan and Emily, they're born and raised here. They're trying to bring this back to the community. The only Woolworth building left in the country. And it's just
in our little sleepy dust patch town, right? Yeah. And then these people they're never going to get open. It's like, dude, you couldn't build a chicken coop. Will you shut up?
And then the first week we put up the doors and the glass, it gets broken. And we're like, all right.
Oh, they just tagged our building this week too. Yeah. You know what was really upsetting about it too, by the way? It wasn't even good. You know what I mean?
It's like, I would have paid you to put it up there if you had made it a good thing.
Bum, like the first time you ever tagged a building was mine. Like, you didn't practice on a cardboard box or like a freeway underpass. You came right downtown to the big stage right on the side of my east wall, you jerk. This guy open mic'd his tagging on my wall, bro. These whack 1990s bubble letters, you loser.
That's awesome.
So catch me sleeping on the roof with a paintball gun.
And I'm sure you and your wife probably are living there.
I'm going vigilante for downtown. I'll watch the Woolworths building too. But by the way, back to it really quick. I was like, babe, like Emily and Sherrod, I was like, these people know what they're doing and they've got a bigger checkbook than I do and a bigger scope for their project than what we're doing. And it's still delays and delays. And they're not idiots. This is kind of how it goes, right? And you got to think about, there's another example I use, like, do the people at Ford know what they're doing? And then there's like $1 billion recall. You know what I mean? It's not like stuff happens. You know what I mean? You got on-site conditions. You didn't expect to find these things. And
like, who would have known the elevators, it takes 2-3 years for repair and
well, that there's only
plumbing and
2 companies that actually fix elevators
in the whole
in
North
general
America.
is wild to me.
And we've been on a waiting list for 2 years and it keeps getting pushed back. Luckily, the city allowed that part, but then there was some type of fire safety, I mean,
fire safety was hanging us up too. They wanted us to get sprinklers.
Yeah.
And that was a by the way, that was a big component of why we haven't opened yet. And also what led to our project scope changing is they came in and said, put in sprinklers. And we're like, what? No.
What do we need sprinklers
for 25 years, this building's been food, drinks, and live entertainment. What do you think a comedy club is? There's no change of occupancy here. We've done nothing that should trigger us not being grandfathered. Like, no one's telling Sandrini's to put an elevator in or the Fox. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of grandfathered in until you do certain things. So we're actually still challenging it right now. And so that was a lot of why that's what delayed us. And it was sort of like, while we're delayed, let's do these other things.
Does the fear, though, of some of these homeless people starting fires in these buildings, though, not kind of want you to put sprinklers in there?
It does.
Because it has happened. I mean, look at Tina Maurice.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's totally a concern for sure, right? The upshot is really part of the challenge with the fire marshals and the building department was, and the fire marshals are actually on our side.
Yeah.
For not having to put sprinklers
Yeah.
in, because we have a really robust heat and smoke detection system, and we're exceeding every requirement in terms of egress points, fire extinguishers, horns, lights, strobes, backup lighting, exit illumination, egress aisles. I mean, we're killing it. I would legitimately argue we've got one of the safest buildings downtown in terms of health and safety, getting people out the door safely when someone blows out the birthday candles and the sirens go off, right? So sprinklers don't save lives.
No,
they save property. So to your point, yes, there's a concern. What if that happens? Thankfully, I mean, at least I've got a 75-year-old concrete steel type building. I mean, obviously it would devastate, everything inside, but we also have active fire monitoring, and I'm 0.3 miles from the nearest firehouse. So as long as they're not saving a kitten up a tree someplace down the road, you know what I mean?
You'd be surprised how long it takes for these guys to get there sometimes.
I'm going to be stopping by daily with donuts and
just remember me right down the hall.
Italian beefs and stuff. Yeah, hey dude, I need you guys to get out of bed real quick.
Well, back to, I mean, just the comedy scene. Obviously, you guys were using Ava's for a while. Evas.
Yeah.
And I know that took a break.
Yes.
We had Anthony on the last open mic they had there. So, I mean, pushing it back to January to, cross the T's and dot the I's. Is there any, I mean, that use comedians obviously are probably hitting you up every day. Like, when can we do it? When can we do it? Is there still going to be that type of scene until then?
Yeah, I mean, obviously our comedy scene, which if I can be so self-indulgent to take a little bit of credit for trying to kind of build up over the years,
of course,
is a little sleepier right now than it was. And there's pros and cons to that. The upshot is I've been kind of trying to challenge and push our younger comics in general to get on the road. Get out of Bakersfield, go down to LA, get up to Fresno, get up to SAC, get to San Diego, get to Vegas, and expand your network, expand your contacts, your sphere of influence, see what styles are, how their things are different. Some of the stuff we do here just doesn't translate to LA or San Francisco as well.
And grow as a comedian.
Yeah. So go grow as a comedian. Take this time, because we've been real spoiled. Most comedy clubs, some of them don't have a mic at all. Some have one. Joe Rogan won't shut up about having two. We had three. Joe Rogan's got endless money, right? And so we had three. And you could lose money on open mics, but it was about cultivating a scene. So why would these guys get in the car when you get 3 open mics a week at the club? So now's a good time to get in the car and then expand how many minutes of material you got. And then when we open and you hit the ground running, you're like, man, I got a new half an hour to work out at the club. So there is that. We rehomed a couple of our shows at Tembler during the downtime. We rehomed a couple at the Nile as well. And I think both of those venues are actually kind of chomping at the bit for us to do more. So we almost moved Hans Kim and Giannis Pappas over to either the Nile or Tembler. And I think those are actually rescheduled for Q1 next year. So we're already filling up the calendar. It's cool. We got Jim Norton and Giannis and Steph Telev and a bunch of great shows already booked for next year. So knowing that it's January, I might pop off a couple of satellite shows at these venues. And I like working with them. You guys know these guys too.
Yeah.
And they're all amazing. So working with the Fox and the Nile and these historic venues is cool. I love the folks over at Tembler as well and their contributions to comedy over the years. So we'll probably pop up a couple of shows. I might make a move on our open mic soon. I actually got to call Anthony when we get out of here today about some Thursday opportunities. So
sweet.
So we'll hopefully next time I come on here, I'll tell you a little bit more about some mics and some upcoming shows and more of what we got going on at the club. And I think at White Lane we were 200 seats is where we left off at, which was kind of a big change just in terms of the acts that you can get at 200 times 4 or 5 or 6 shows. And I think we're going to be 210, 2.25 at the new spot. So that's another like leap forward in terms of who we can get.
Well, speaking of Los Angeles, you know, I'm on the fence waiting to hear back if we're going to be at the Raider game in Vegas, and I might hit up Burdick after the show to see if I rarely get a full weekend off, and I was thinking if this game doesn't pan out, this is a weekend that me and the wife could head down to LA and maybe hit that bucket list of the Comedy Store or something like that. But aside from the Comedy Store, what other comic spots can I hit down in LA? I've never hit any other comic place besides here in Kern County.
You've never been to the store?
It's been on my bucket list, but
buddy.
like when you're working, 3 jobs, and a teenager that's got band camp 3 days a week.
This is true.
It's kind of hard to get out.
You're making bad life choices. If I'm honest.
I mean, the Comedy Store has always been my bucket list, and I'm gonna make it down there. I've taken pictures outside.
Go with you. I kind of want to go. I want to like be there on a field trip with you when you see it for the first time.
We talked to Tyson, who just came back from the Comedy Store and rubbed my face right into it. And I was like, I've looked at the website, and I mean, I know they do a lot of late shows, and those are probably the better ones. I'm asking to go to these.
What's crazy about the store with 3 rooms? It's really not like here where we kick off a 90-minute show at 8 o'clock to 9:30. I mean, it's like 5 hours of comedy that's just endless. You know what I mean? Like as soon as one show ends, another one immediately begins in the same room, and it's like you can pretty much, depending on the night, right? When they have some of the big dogs in there, they're sweeping the room, they're getting you out, and you got to have a ticket for that. But sometimes you can go in there at 7 o'clock and not leave till 2 in the morning.
Nice.
I mean, it's wild, right? I was on a show in the belly room upstairs, their small room, years ago, and the promoter called me on my drive down. He goes, "Hey, you haven't left yet, have you?" I was like, "Of course, it's a 2-hour drive. Like, I'm almost there, dude." And he goes, "Well, turn around." They pulled the show, and I go, "You're he's a comic too." And I'm like, "You're lying, dude," because I knew our ticket sales were really good.
Yeah.
So I was like, "There's no way they're gonna bump us. Like our ticket sales were good." And he goes, "No." He goes, "Dave Chappelle's taking the room." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it's a secret show. Nobody knows."
And see, that's what I've always heard about these secret shows. I'm like, I just want to. I was going to ask you because I've always heard, the best times are like to Tuesday night when in the middle of the week where you don't know it's just an open mic type thing where you don't know who's going to walk in. And then Tyson was saying, just go to the Friday, Saturday night, the late night, and you never know who's going to be because they'll show you like the 3 headlines, but you don't really know who the headliners are, who's in town that weekend and who's going to pop up. So that was my question. If I've been looking at the website, is it just easier just to walk up and see, hey, what available seats do you have in either rooms?
No, I mean, certainly if any of the bigger names are already on a lineup, I'd get my tickets on the earlier side without a doubt. If it's kind of it's a kind of a who's who of decent comics, but it's not like Jesselnick or Burr or whatever, you could probably just show up and pick one of the 3 rooms. And like, if I went down there with you, we could probably I'll go in there. I mean, I know a bunch of the past comics and the door guys and stuff. So I kind of float around between the rooms sometimes. And the guys in the hallway and the staff are kind of, "Oh, that's Dan," whatever, let him go. But if you're with me, we kind of pop around. And that's what I like to do is I'll go and take a picture of the list for each of the 3 rooms, and then just kind of keep an eye on my watch and go, let me pop over there for D'Elia, and then I'm gonna bounce over here for Burr, and then the popping over there I just heard through the grapevine is going to be Chris Rock. Let me head over there. So yeah, that's the move. And yeah, dude, you gotta go. To me, I went to the Comedy Store for the first time, I don't know, 13 years ago, something, before I started doing comedy, and it was like Mecca. You know what I mean? I bumped into Joe Rogan in the hallway. I mean, he wasn't anywhere near as big 13 years ago as he is now, and just had like a chat with him. It's cool because that place is like, if you're a music fan, there's no place on earth that you can go and I'm going to bump into Steven Tyler, and I'm going to bump into Mick Jagger, and I'm going to turn the corner and slam into Sugar Ray or what, you know what I mean? But at the store, it's like that, dude. You turn a corner and you bump into Dane Cook, and then it's Ron White, and then it's, so yeah, super
cool. I know, looking at the calendar for Saturday, they're doing the best of the store with is it Eliza
Liza Schlesinger, yeah.
and Craig
Conan, yeah, he's done the club.
Esther, and Amir K. And then wrapping up with Rick Ingram.
Amir K's done the club too. What room is that one in?
That is the main room.
All right. And then you got your belly room and your OR. By the way, you're talking this weekend? Is that
This is
Raiders
Saturday.
Bears?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
hang on
Sunday.
a second. What are we doing with those Bears tickets
And
then?
we are an ESPN station, the home of the Las Vegas Raiders. So we're kind of on a waiting list for every home game. So
Okay.
my buddy JR that runs the PD of this station is a diehard Raider fan.
And it's not necessarily tickets; it's media.
It's just a hit and miss on the
Let me
media.
let me get that badge, dude. I'll go be a stand-in for you guys and get
But-
them credentials, son.
If we we don't hear back from today, I was gonna hit up Burdick and say, hey, you want to do BC this weekend so I can go down to Hollywood with the
I
wife?
would not. I'd gladly do that.
I'll go be your proxy.
I mean, if you want to get in the car with us, we could go down to Hollywood this weekend.
That
I
would be-
rarely get a whole weekend off. I
That
don't
would
have
be
any
cool.
kids.
Go get it done.
It'd be cool to go do
So I
that.
was
I gotta
like-
go do some more field trips too. And I'd love to go down to the store. You can go check out Haha. Jack Jr. Is a friend of mine, and his dad started Haha, I think 35 years ago. I think Jack kind of helps run it now. There's Comedy Chateau over there, which is maybe seen a little bit more like kind of a B room, but they get, I mean, Kevin Hart's popped into the Chateau. There's what else was
There's also
Laugh Factory.
Oh, the Laugh
The
Factory would be
I've
cool
heard
too.
Great things about.
Or Hollywood. Let me see who's Hollywood Improv typically has some good stuff going on. I got a buddy that produces
be
like an
awesome, too. I
all-star
think I'd
SNL show there.
Watch the was one of my first comedy shows I watched was the Tim Allen at the Improv.
No kidding.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know how dirty that man was until I
Yeah.
watched that, and then we did Home Improvement. I was like, "This is not Tim Allen."
I was just thinking in my head, it's like I don't think I've ever heard Tim Allen as a stand-up
Oh,
comic.
dude, you got to watch that.
Really?
Vulgar. And
he
did
is
you know he
hilarious.
was he had been in jail for cocaine?
Oh yes,
I
he
had
talked
heard
about that.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
those
crazy.
those
Again,
old school comedy
well, I think
shows.
there are a lot of people that say the same thing about Robin Williams. When you watch
Yeah.
him in his movies, you never would think that he's the comedian that he is.
Well,
Yeah,
another one
Mrs.
was those-
Doubtfire, and then he's over
Exactly.
here.
Those old Rodney Dangerfield specials where I got to see, Andrew Dice Clay, and there was a couple different comedians, but that's what I've always thought, the Comedy Store or one of those. I've heard the history of all those special Hollywood spots. So I've always wanted to go. So I think I just opened that door. So my wife is listening. Maybe we'll
Planting
hit up one of these
seeds,
shows.
Inception.
So just jump on the Comedy Store.
Let me know if you're going for sure, and I'll see if I could snag you some tickets
Sweet.
or get somebody at least pluck you out of the line and get you in there or something. or-
Beautiful. Well,
you
I
float around.
appreciate you coming down and making time for us, and we'll keep you posted, or you keep us posted, and we'll get you back on here in a month or so, and we'll see how the updates are.
Let's do it, guys. Just when does your show end today?
It ends at 9.
Okay, well, I'm staying, just so you know. Like,
Okay.
I'm not leaving.
Well, we,
So
we got
you can feel free to sign
handicapper.
off, but
We got
I'm-
we got handicapper Bolt Brady coming up right after this break. We'll hope to get you some money here this weekend. We've got some big games we could talk about right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 1230 AM.
101.1 FM.
Welcome back. This is the early bird special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, and it's that time again, as it is every single week. We got to call in our guy Bolt Brady from Bolt Brady and his bro at the Believe Network. Hope you guys win some money. There's NFL Week 4, potentially some help in the NCAA as well. Not 100% sure how many picks he's got for us this week, but sir, how are you?
Hey, fellas, what's happening? It's going to be a great weekend of sport.
I know. I agree with you 100%. First and foremost, self-indulgent, obviously, but Ryder Cup coming up as well. How you feeling? Do you think America's going to be able to pull it off?
I do. The last 5 Ryder Cups have been won on the home soil, and I think it'll be number 6.
I have to agree. And honestly, just the teams this year, it looks like America is coming with everything we have, including the Live Tour guys. So I'm kind of happy to see that they didn't get snubbed out.
And it's being played in New York, so that crowd's going to fire it up.
Absolutely. Do you have any bets based around the Ryder Cup at all? Have you kind of picked any of the groups to win?
Well, so I did take the U.S. to win minus 150, and then that's it for now, because once they start coming out with the matches, then you can start taking advantage of those situations.
So how do the plus minus, I've always wondered this, but how do the plus minuses work for golf in terms of like the money line and stuff like that? How do they determine the proper money line for this type of stuff?
Well, that's a good question. Once again, that they base it a lot on statistics, right? So like even when you go head to head, they're going to look into driving distance and getting on the green and regulation and all of that. And then you just kind of have someone that has a little feel for it too. So it's a little combination of both.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense, but I've always wondered how football, it's a little more simple. Obviously, you just have to go with the spread and what you think these guys are going to score. But golf is just one of those that I've never really understood completely how you can actually get it done betting wise. So I've always been kind of curious.
Once again, they do take a lot of statistics into play, and also the course that's being played gets factored in as well.
Absolutely. But let's shift over to the NFL. Plenty of games to talk about, including tonight's game. Seattle against the Cardinals. 1.5 sits the spread favoring Seattle. Do you have any bets for this one?
Yeah, so it actually opened up as the Cardinals is the favorite, and it flipped over. And I'm actually disagreeing with that. I actually like the Cardinals tonight. Kyler Murray's actually 32-17 against the spread as an underdog. I actually do think he's the better quarterback in this situation as well. So I like the Cards.
I have to agree. I don't know why people are so high on Seattle so far. I know they started out 2-1 so far in this year, but
I think it's the nervousness with James Conner out. And
I think so too. But I mean, again, like we said earlier in the show, this could be that game where the Cardinals really get behind each other and say, you know what, let's do it for James. Let's figure this out.
That typically happens. And also the Seahawks have had most of their games at home, and the Cards are actually the other way around. So, and Thursday night football, it's the short week. That's always hard to travel. So yeah, I do like the Cards here.
And they could feed Marvin Harrison. That game would have been totally different without a couple drops,
I'm still high on Marvin. Still high on Marvin.
Zay Jones dropping the third down conversion. I mean, they should have won that game.
Oh, 100%. But let's talk about the overseas game a little bit. This game in Dublin, Ireland, as the Vikings and Steelers set to go at it. Do you make bets on these games, or is this kind of like Thursday where you, just because of the time difference?
It depends who's playing, but I'm excited for this game. Yeah, I love when they go overseas because you get football at 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast, so it doesn't get any better than that. But yeah, this is just two teams that I'm not completely sure how good or bad they are, but there is one thing that I am sure about, and that's Aaron Rodgers is better than Carson Wentz. So I like Pittsburgh in the points here.
You know, I agree with you, but there is one factor that I keep telling our listeners that you can't forget, and that's Kevin O'Connell and his ability to make these quarterbacks look great. So I don't know that it just shocks me a little bit that he's able to do it with so many different ones. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's a great coach. But last week, Carson looked a lot better because his defense was putting him in position.
Exactly.
The defense just totally dominated the game last week.
That's the only reason I took Minnesota. I love Brian Flores and that defense, and they looked, at least last week, that they were starting to open up that defensive play calling, but it's out of the country. It's Pittsburgh. You know, Aaron Rodgers, if anybody can read some defenses, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I would feed those tight ends like he usually does, which would probably change up this game. I don't know the points with this one, but I I would
2.5 favoring
I'd probably stay
Minnesota.
away from that personally, but
How do you feel about the over and under in this game, though? Because it's obviously two defensive teams, and it's sitting at 40.5.
Yeah, that's not very many points, but if I had to take it away, I'd lean with the under.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Flores and Tomlin something tells me this game's going to be 13-15 or something weird like that. You got any other major picks for this weekend?
Yeah, so college, well, I guess we stick with the NFL here. So the NFL, and this is going to sound real ugly, but when teams get waxed, they usually battle back the next week, especially when they're on national television. So I like the Bengals +7.5 against the Broncos and the Cowboys +7 this weekend. I think they're both going to bounce back. And then in college, for Saturday, for the college people, actually we start Friday night with Arizona State -3.5. And then on Saturday, some of the big games, Arkansas +3.5 versus Notre Dame. And then the big daddy, the one that I really like, Ole Miss money line versus LSU.
Oh God, that sounds so good, but I can't trust the Tigers yet. I don't know what it is, but there's something that tells me they're going to let everybody down again.
no way.
I don't know.
No way.
I have watched enough of this LSU team the last couple of years to know that they look great early, and then just somewhere along the line we get a trip up, fall flat on their face, and move on. Self-indulgent one for you though. How do you feel about USC against the Illini this weekend?
Well, that's funny because last week we took Michigan State and they got to the window for us. I would lean with Illinois in the points again. I just think USC is a little too overrated.
I'm a USC fan, so I understand why you would say that because they haven't played anybody yet. But I have a little bit of hope since the Illini got blown out last week by 60. I mean,
well, that's true, but usually when that happens, you've got everyone's attention and everyone really pays attention the next week at practice.
This is true.
Well, speaking of our teams, I know you called it last week with the Dolphins and the Bills, and that we were talking about the major point difference, and Miami covered. But I have to bring up the winless Dolphins against the winless Jets on Monday night. You stay away from those ones.
There's some games that you just have to stay away from, and that's one of them.
And I mean, we're the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, and it should be a good game with them and the Bears. We don't know what kind of Caleb we're gonna get. Last I looked, the Raiders were favored 1.5, and I probably the only time of the season where you'll see the Dolphins and the Raiders favored in their games.
That's true. That's true. That game's going to be interesting. Like, I don't know what to expect from either team. I mean, obviously the Bears played great, but now they go on the road. So is there going to be a little bit of a letdown? And the Raiders, they need to win a ball game.
As well as the Dolphins. So we'll see. We've got our buddy Daniel Betts, a local comedian that is from Chicago.
I told you guys I wasn't leaving. I'm just sticking around.
So this one is a kind of a
Can I ask a self-indulgent really quick?
Sure.
What do I have in Caleb Williams here? What do you see? What do I got? Do I have somebody?
Well, I was telling the guys earlier in the year, I do think that this is the year that he comes out, like coming out party for him. And last week definitely showed it. I think last year was just a little too premature. You know, when you're that young, you got to get some games underneath your belt. So I do think Caleb has a lot of talent.
I agree. And honestly, I don't think it was a fair comparison for him last year in his rookie season with a head coach that really just wasn't there to develop him.
No, it didn't make sense at all. And obviously it's his rookie season. There's no O-line. I think he was the number 1 sacked, if not number 2 sacked quarterback last year.
Probably.
Tom Brady's talked about quarterbacks these days. You come right out of college, you're playing in the NFL. Used to be you came up under somebody great, like an Aaron Rodgers got to do, like Brady got to do. And so now you're just thrown right into the mix. I don't think that they should have gotten rid of Fields, if I'm honest. I think they should have kept Fields and let Caleb come up under him and let Fields take the hits last year and then develop Caleb a little bit more. But I think he's going to be a stud. I think Jordan Love's not going to be able to carry Caleb's jockstrap, if I'm honest.
Wow.
I think the Bears are going to start beating the Packers a lot more than we used to.
We will see what we will see out of that. But, sir, Mr. Brady, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Take care, Bill.
We got to take a break real quick, pay some bills. We'll get one last segment in here with our guy, Dan Betts, live in studio. This is the Early Bird Special right here on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. This is the early bird special, final segment of the day. I want to thank our guy Bolt Brady for coming in, giving us pick of the week. You guys need to start utilizing that, making some money. I'm telling you, especially if you live in an area in which allows you to sports
The
bet.
legal way.
I'm just saying, they can make a lot of money that way. We got our guy Dan Betts still in studio. We were talking about something during the break. Two things. First and foremost, you were just telling me that you lived in New Orleans when the last time
Saints
they won.
Yeah, it was really cool.
We were talking about Drew Brees potentially getting in first ballot Hall of Fame. First, how do you feel about that? And second, talk about what he meant to the city. I know you're not a Saints fan per se, but I mean, you were right in the midst of it and how everybody feels about this guy.
He was heroic. Heroic. I have goosebumps. I'm not a Saints fan, but goosebumps. I mean, I lived there. You know, we were just saying Hurricane Katrina was not too far in the rearview mirror at that time, right? And this was a city that's really struggling, man. Really struggling. A lot of poverty, a lot of history, a lot of culture, and for them to rally around, you know, and think how many people were probably in the arena after Katrina, sleeping there, living there, the roofs coming off the place in the middle of the storm, you know, and then you're watching this team winning there. It was really cool, man.
Dude, that state in general is such a beautiful place to live in. I lived there for a little while during Hurricane Andrew.
I didn't know you lived in NOLA.
Yeah, I was actually in Hammond, about 2 hours out. I was taking care of my grandma, and not only is the food incredible as advertised, but the people, man, are just the biggest, nicest people I've ever met. And I've lived in a couple different places, but it was the same week I left. It was the same weekend that Ricky Williams was traded to my Dolphins. And it was at that time, and they're huge on LSU as well. But it was when he was doing his interviews with his helmet on, like he wouldn't take his helmet off. And they were like, what is wrong with this guy? But just the people in Louisiana, man. So I know how big Drew Brees and how much they just adopt these players. They're part of the family.
Oh, 100%. Well, they adopt you just because you're a Saint in general. It doesn't matter how long you were there. Because I feel like if Derek went down there at any point in time, they'd probably welcome him back with open arms as well. But the other topic that we were talking about were the rules of fandom.
Rules of fandom. Steven, you didn't get to hear this. I got rules.
So,
and by the way, just so you know, super fast, my architect texted me and he was like, well, I don't know if the building department was listening, but I was.
Oh, God.
So building department, if you're listening, I swear to you, I'm just kidding. I'm a comedian. These are jokes.
It's a joke.
Comedy.
You can't take anything serious.
I'm just playing, dude. Please don't come by. Everything's good. I'm over here being silly. We're just goofballs.
Yes. But one thing you can take seriously are his rules of
fandom. You ready for him, Steven?
I'm sorry.
No, the reason we got on this topic, obviously, is Dan asked me what everybody asks me when I tell him I'm a Falcons fan. How the hell did that happen? And I just told him, it's like, you know, when I was growing up, Michael Vick was huge. I caught it like right when I started watching football, and I just never left the team. And
a lot of people don't know this about you too. Big dog fighting fan.
I mean, I won't go that far. Big dog fan. Leave the fighting out.
Okay.
So you're gonna bring up the picture?
Huh? Oh no.
I'm trying to shift the building department to look at him now and not me. Just
exactly.
Lift and shift. Can I give you the rules really quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
hear when it comes to supporting a team, being a fan, rooting for a team, here's the rules. You have to either root for the hometown team, right? Town you live in, town you grew up in, that's your team. End of story. Or if you move as a kid, you could stay with the team from where you were born, or you could switch to the new place that you live, right? You move from Chicago to the Bay, you can become a Niners fan. Or neither of those, you can root for the team that your dad rooted for.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right? So if dad was a Dolphins fan and you live in none of these places and you never moved there, you never been there, you could take dad's team. You can also follow a college player into the league and then go with whatever team he's on.
Right.
All decisions are finalized by the age of 13. There is no changing after 13. Grow up. It's not acceptable. You're just being a jerk at this point.
Right.
And then lastly, this one is the only one, regardless of age. If your team moves, I will allow you to follow that team, like the Raiders. You're a Las Vegas Raiders fan now, or you get to pick a new one. You could be 60 years old. Your team leaves. you can go, fine, I guess I'll root for the Niners because I still want to be able to go to games. You know, I'm hurt by them leaving the city, whatever. You're a grown man, you're sobbing, you're burning your jerseys. You can pick a new team. I
could back that. I could back that one.
Would
I
you
mean,
would
I
you
believe
add
the same
any of
thing.
it?
No, I mean, I grew up, I was force-fed the Dolphins as a kid. My dad was a big Dolphin fan, and my grandpa was actually a bookie. He did a lot of sports betting. So my dad growing up at the age of 7, which was the year of 1972, he picked, hey, I like the team with the fish on the helmet, and it ended up being the undefeated season. He got to watch game by game, and it turned into this where, you know, I was born into it. We'd drive every Sunday. We'd have to pick a lamppost that would play the Dolphin game and be the only fans there. And I stuck with my team. I got the logo tattooed on my calf. I'm in there, win, lose, or tie. I'm with the Fins until I die. But I could totally understand the one thing that bugs me more than anything with fandoms is when you have I have 2 teams. I'm like,
no, we talked about that too.
No.
One team.
I can't do that.
One team. You're just obnoxious. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can't suck up the same air as the rest of us.
And I stress this, but you can't have an NFC and an AFC team. Like I unless you're not a serious fan. If you're not a serious fan, then I'll allow it. Like, but if you are somebody that wears the jerseys and is supposedly a diehard and you'll run out there and cheer louder than anybody, you are only allowed that one team. I better not see you running around with somebody else's jersey on next week.
Yep. I've got a cousin who her team is always winning. I'm like, wait, hang on a second, Charlotte. This is the 11th team.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? And she's always got some lame excuse. Well, I lived in the Bay for 12 days. Like, shut up. Are you kidding me? You're from Chicago. Be a Bears fan and lose with the rest of us.
Like Bulls fans.
Yeah, that's another one too. A lot of them are a lot.
And
it hurt Bulls fans though.
It hurt this year because I was rooting for the Knicks in the playoffs, and I was like, as soon as this is over and Thibodeau is gone, I cannot root the Knicks on. But I love Tibbs, and I will always back Tibbs, and hopefully he can come back to Chicago sometime in the near future.
I mean,
the Knickerbockers.
Yeah,
technically, because I am going to get text messages unless I say this. I am an outlier of your rules though.
Oh,
because technically, my
turn the camera off, Steven. I'm going to.
I like the colors.
That was what actually got it to me. But my teams are Philadelphia, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Atlanta Falcons, which obviously never lived in any of those cities, are nowhere close to any of them.
Oh, you know what? Actually, hang on. I think you're okay here because there is a rule that I forgot. As a kid, you could pick based off of like jersey or just, I think it's okay. Like if you were a kid, Russell Wilson, the Seahawks are doing it. It's okay to just pick. It's just the best team at the time. You're locked in by 13 though. Did you pick all your teams by 13?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you're okay.
Well before
yeah, we're
13.
still friends.
Okay.
My little brother was a Packer fan growing up, and he did not like the nickname of a cheesehead because I'd call him that every Sunday, and he swapped. By the age of 13, he was a Dolphin fan. I was like, hey, I've heard the tuna stuff. I'm killing fish, blah, 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 for going on 40 years. So
that's like me telling my brother, who now magically is a Buffalo Bills fan. It's like, well, until I see you jump through a table, I don't think you're a real Buffalo Bills fan.
And dude, growing up, I never met a Patriot fan. I never met a Bills fan.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there is so many of them.
Bandwagoners.
I was like,
I'll take that though over the Cowboys fans. I'm over it, dude. Bakersfield's got a lot of Cowboys fans. I don't get it.
They still have to justify the America's team thing to me.
No,
my wife was a Cowboy fan when we met, and that.
Nope.
I said, you could be a Cowboy fan. But
I have
on Sundays,
theory.
this is a Dolphin home.
I have a theory that we don't nearly have enough time for me to get into it, but I do have a theory that most women who are Cowboys fans are Cowboys fans, either one, because of an ex-boyfriend, or two, because they wanted to be one of the cheerleaders.
Troy Aikman.
Yeah, and it makes sense in
hot.
Bakersfield, all the oil and gas folks that came from Texas and caused us. My daughter's goes to my youngest goes to daycare, and the daycare lady, she's amazing. I love her to death. She's incredible, but she's a Packers fan. I'm like, I'm telling you right now. She's like, I'm going to convert her. I was like, I've never hit a woman, but you're hearing it here.
Words.
Yeah, we got more than the building department to worry about. You turn my kid into a Packers fan, Bakersfield PD, if you're listening, I'm telling you right now, premeditated.
I told the same thing to my sister and brother-in-law the other day, who are diehard Dodgers. I'm going to convert their daughter into a Phillies fan, and they dang near fought me. We got to get out of the way. Dan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Here comes Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.